The candle made it into 2020. So did all my spreadsheets. Of course, I got the first thing wrong. It's 2021. But it lasted. Homebody was my first one. I will always have mixed thoughts because I love her work and some of it touches my soul and some of it just does not connect, and I think that that's the thing about poetry all the time. I'm happy. I began this year dancing around with friends to Cheap Thrills, slightly tipsy on mulled wine, and I ended the year twirling in my living room alone. Ah, I was just like, I am going to dance with my eyes closed through all of my houses and just say thank you. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Thank you for the year. Thank you to the friends. I know that it was not an ideal year, but it was a year that gave promises that I didn't think I needed. And even though I'm alone, I'm very happy, very content. And here's to 2021 and a great year in which many things happen. Yeah. Goodbye, 2020, and so long. I picked the right book to start my year. I can't like move my face because the tears have like solidified my cheeks. I really, really loved The Mothers. So I misunderstood the meaning. I thought that it was about a mother who, her and her friend who was a really good Christian girl, and how their lives separated after she had a teen pregnancy. And I don't want to give everything away, but a lot of it deals with abortion and how that grief stays with you, and amazingly how it deals also with the father. I think that often in the name of progression, we ignore the emotions around it, and I think that that doesn't help anyone. Ignoring the grief that often comes with abortion doesn't help women with the choices or limitations that childbirth helps. And you know, there's this one scene where the man goes like, I've never seen a man on, you know, a pregnancy center thing, and dealing with his own grief that he just can't get over. And these characters are very, very flawed and they're very, very messy. But I love the third person omniscient. I love passing years. I love this story so much. Yeah. And I love that these characters are not black and white. I also love how it dealt with sexual abuse and the lingering effects of sexual abuse, and how so often how that affects someone is not brought past, you know, a time or a season or a year, is either hyper focus or it's just passed on. And it did a really good job of dealing with the fear that comes after that, even when you're in love, but when you've been hurt so badly, and the complications and around suicide. Like, it has a lot of trigger warnings, but it was so well done. And I'm very glad it was my first year, even though I've been just like sobbing this whole time. I absolutely love this art and the way that it's portrayed. Like, I love integrative art that tells stories, and like you see, you know, the little boy arriving in Gotham, and then you see him shooting the Man of Valor, the death alongside his dinner, and how great a man he was. And then down here, and it's like showing the war and the Catholics with the shots. Oh, it's such a great shot. So that first issue was friggin' incredible. Really recommend Cry for Blood, Huntress, 2000. And also, okay, I've heard of The Question. I've more heard about Renee Montoya's act of it, and I think this guy dies at some point, but I've never really figured out where that is. So if you know where that comic is, I've heard it's very interesting. But this is such a cool, awesome cover, and I'm very interested because I don't know anything about this man. Babs and Tim doing this, I I just love it. The interspicing between The Question and Conversations and Richard Dragon and Tim and Babs and Nightwing and Batman. I really love this integrated world, and I think it's Greg Rucka, and I can't remember which other thing it is, but I'm gonna look it up. And I really love the artwork. Even though it's not the most modern, I really love the way that he designs art around these things. So super excited. Also, apparently she's only 23 and she's a teacher. Don't know how that completely works, but everything else is brilliant. And she's in Canada.
So this was a moment when I was like, wow, this is an incredible cover. And then I flipped down and look at this. There were so many flowers. My mother had been shot in the chest. It was an open casket. But my father and brother had been shot in the face, and there's no way a mortician could repair that damage. I was 8 years old, and my family was dead. And all I thought was that people loved us. Also pasta. I love pasta.
So this is super clever and deep cut. I mostly know this because I watched Sasha's channel, who is the same person who recommended this to me. Well, like, her video did. And I picked it up because she did a video on it. She is the person who behind Casually Comics, and I love her channel. Anyway, she did Confusing History of the Huntress and Helena Wayne. Anyways, pretty much, the Huntress character was originally Batman and Batwoman's daughter, I believe, in Earth 1, and then they rebooted it because the characters were getting too old, and we have this new character who's a mob girl. Anyways, and she's talking about how he created you by example, and with all parents, you struggle against him, seeking both approval and liberation. You saying that Batman is my father, in a matter of speaking, yes. You're so full of it. Anyways, this is a very clever way because she is canonically not his daughter. She is way too old and also, not connected at all. But they're talking and showing an allusion from that into this. And it's a very clever way to acknowledge past canon because Helena Wayne has been vanished for many, many years, but acknowledging it in a really interesting way. Okay, I just, like, every time I'm like, nope, I'm not going to do another video on the fact that this art is so friggin' incredible. And you have her walking into her apartment. It's time that you're home. And I was, like, looking at the clever art and all of this. And then I kind of also realized it's playing at the father role because, Batman is sitting there waiting for her as she brings a man to her apartment. Gotta love that extra nod. But the art, oh, I love this. It's, like, so simplistic and yet so well done and executed. I'll be watching again. I just love the shading. Oh, watching them with the thing literally there. And then family's always embarrassing, huh? Will you stop with that already? I'm not a member of the Bat family. He's already got 2 kids as it is. Whenever people are like, yes, Batman is solo hero, I'm like, yep. He collects children and strays like everything. I'm sorry, but Batman leaves. And then we're here. And she's like, okay, nope, Robin is here. And he goes to her fridge. She's been gone for 3 months. And he's like, there's nothing edible in here. There's chips under the counter. Am I just dying? Yes. Do I love this? Yes. Is this just what I want? Being like, you have my whole life documented here. We've been working on the case when you've been gone. I just want all the comics to be this. Like, this is the art that I'm talking about. That is just, like, the family tree in the background, like, all... Like, I love panels, but I also love when they, like, avoid the panels and just go for the full out, like, integrative one, like Harleen and, like, so many others. I love this kind of art so much. I turned off the camera too soon because, my goodness, do you see this panel? Like, my goodness. Okay, I'm just gonna read it. It shows her whole story, and it's so freaking wonderful. I thought of myself as a nun, totally devoted to my quest, working, studying, trying to be patient, and failing. Seeing my family die when I slept, dreaming of revenge when I woke. I vowed to myself that the crying of the blood would be answered, and when I couldn't wait any longer, I left Sicily, and I came home. Like, do you need anything more? Like, just dang. Oh, so good. And there is the first 5-star of the year. So I am on an adventure because I am going to try to find a place to take pretty book photos. They're in the bag because I can't carry them and I can't set them down because it's wet. And when I talk about the fact that I don't like Canadian winter, this is what I mean. Because at least where I am in southern Ontario, we never, ever, ever have, like, snow for more than a week. It will be like 3 feet of snow and then it will melt all and just be gross. And it's not even pretty. And it's just like, oh, where? This is behind my building. I'm trying to find, like, a piece of white snow because it's so nice to take pictures in. Oh, it's cold. I should have worn a coat. But I'm that person who's like, it's Canadian. It's only snowing a little bit. I'll be fine. My window is up above, which is normally why I take it outside my window. but it's been so like gross out here. It just has not had like good lighting. Like, look, that's just everything. But there's the pretty little stream back here, and I can put these on my thing. Like, my window is literally, that is my window up there. And like, she's now gone. I got someone to yell at me once from one of the other windows. Yeah, so I should probably be careful how long I stay out here, but let's try to take some pictures. I'm trying to currently perch this in here because, you know, the issue is, I can't hold it because hands look terrible in pictures. I also can't put it on the ground because it's snowing and wet everywhere. There's ducks! Also, I took a picture here, which is just more daring than ever. You have to really be careful. Some of these are my roommate's books, so I'm gonna be terrible. Look at that daringness. There's a duck in the back.